and welcome, people. Welcome to the Calvin Dean Show. My name is Calvin Dean, and we have to go over the AFC South. That was what this show is all about. And you know what, everyone is like, they ask me a lot of questions. I got one question from Kentucky, John from Kentucky, and he asked, hey Calvin, how can you just pick these guys right now to win? Are you just guessing or blah blah blah? And anyway, I'll explain it. I'm going to explain it, guys. I'm going to go over the quarterbacks, and that's a good thing because you know how they get paid the most? Well, there's a reason for that. The reason is that they are the most intricate piece of the offense of any team. You have to look at their stats. Like Tua. Tua had 4,624 yards last year, right? He had a passer rating of 69.3. He only had 29 sacks on him. So that offensive line's pretty good. I mean, really good. You know, whenever you have any, like 20 some odd sacks on the quarterback for the year, that's pretty good. And they only lost 171 yards. And then Jared Goff was second at 45.75, right? 67.3% passing. And his passer rating was 97.9. Tua's passer rating was 101. Okay, this is what I do. What I'm trying to get at is that I look at all the percentages. And you just have to look at, I'm telling you something. The person on paper, the best quarterback of 2023 was one Brock Purdy. And I'm going to tell you a reason why. Well, he threw for 4,280 yards, right? His yards per attempt was 9.6. 9.6, guys. There's not one quarterback in the whole entire league that passing is at 9.6. Not even Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was 7. Tua was 8.3. But, I mean, Josh Allen, 7.4. Dak Prescott, 7.6. Jared Goff, 7.6. No one is in his hemisphere. And then he had 44 passing attempts, right? 308 completions, 69.4. Wow. 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Tua, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Dak Prescott, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Wow. Dak just killed it right there. And then you have the passing rating. The passer rating of Dak Prescott was 105. Okay, so we're back to, I'm trying to compare people, all these other quarterbacks, and people say, oh no, what about Dak Prescott? What about Josh Allen? Well, I'm going to give it to you right now. The passer rating for Brock Purdy was 113. Mind you, Patrick Mahomes is at 92.6. 113 is Brock Purdy. 113, guys. The closest to him, is Dak Prescott at 105.9. Hey, Tua, the one who threw so many yards, his passer rating was 101. 0.1. And that's just what you have to look at is you have to look at those things. And with the sacks with Brock Purdy, 28 sacks. 28 sacks. Josh Allen has 24 sacks, lost 152 yards, and Brock Purdy, 28 sacks, lost 153 yards. That's huge. Right there, you're looking at both offensive lines. Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills offensive line, best offensive blocking line in football. That's the Buffalo Bills. See, this is the things you have to know. Because I can look at his stats. The reason why it said the quarterback is so important is because you look at their stats and you can read what the weaknesses are and what they aren't. Heck, the longest pass of Tua was 78 yards. 78 yards. Dak Prescott, 92 yards, right? 40 plus yards. 40 plus. How many passes went for 40 plus yards? Tua was 11. Jared Goff, 9. Ready? Brock Purdy, 14. Wow. There's a reason why I say these things and tell you, and give you this information, is because when people say, Brock Purdy's a system's quarterback, every single quarterback is that system's quarterback, guys. It is. It just happens to be that Kyle Shanahan's been with that team forever. And yes, that is his system. You go to Miami, and that's their system. You go to Detroit, and that's their system. You go to Dallas, that's their system. But Dallas has been changing the guard in offensive coordinator. Same with Buffalo, right? And, same with Miami. Well, not Miami. The coach is the offensive coordinator, really. But then you have Jared Goff, but, Patrick Mahomes is a clear case. Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid, two coaches, has been in the same organization for many years, and both are just amazing. Patrick Mahomes are right behind Brock Purdy. Patrick Mahomes had 4,183 yards, and Brock Purdy 4,280 yards. Patrick Mahomes 4,183 yards. I'll be fine. Anyway, yards attempt, Brock Purdy 9.6, Patrick Mahomes 7. Passer rating, like I said, 113, 92.6 for Mahomes. Touchdowns and interceptions. Touchdowns for Mahomes 27, 14 interceptions. Brock Purdy 31 and 11. Literally, on paper, what he does, I really think that he was the better quarterback of those quarterbacks that I just mentioned all year, other than Dak Prescott. But I would give the edge to Brock Purdy because Brock brought his team to the Super Bowl, and Dak Prescott lost in the first game of the playoffs. So you have to give it to Brock Purdy if they're that close, And Josh Allen, he's just a phenom. If you don't think he's going to do well this year, he could take a step back. But come on, guys, I don't know, man. I don't know. If you look at his stats, the sacks, 24 is the lowest in the league for any quarterback. Is Josh Allen. Buffalo Bills, 24 sacks. You just have to realize all these stats, and then you go, hell, the longest pass play was 92 yards for Dak Prescott. Longest pass play for Josh Allen was 81 yards. And Brock Purdy was right behind him at 76, and then Tua, 78. Matthew Stafford, it was 80. And Lamar Jackson was 80. And there's another one, Lamar Jackson. He had a passer rating of 102.7. His passer rating was better than Tua, Jared Goff, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love. Wow. You just have to know these things, But I'll tell you another one. Kirk Cousins, guys, was 103.8. 103.8 with a 69% passer rating. But, he only played a few games, but still, he was doing really good. And they wonder why Atlanta signed him at this large, price tag. And I'm telling you something. You got to watch out for that team. That team's that's a surprising team this year. That team could be very surprising. Trust me, they could be very surprised. So let's just get to the AFC South, people. The AFC South, we have the Houston Texans, we have the Indianapolis Colts, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we have the Tennessee Titans. Wow. I mean, this is going to be a tight league. I think all four of these teams, including Tennessee, they're a good team. Tennessee they've loaded up this year. Then you have C.J. Stroud his second year. Will he have the sophomore slump? It's always been the only reason why there's a sophomore slump, people, is because what people have to understand, the teams they all saw with the year that they had, and they were uncertain on how to block him and how to guard against his talents, and they didn't know his weaknesses, or they just found it all out. So you have to understand, is the sophomore slump. That's what happens with a sophomore slump. Teams find out, and then then they act accordingly the next year. We're gonna look at this division and just note that it's going to be a tough division. It's going to be a very, very tough division. I see each team very, very close. We have the Houston Texans, right? Their first game is Indianapolis, their own division, and then you have the young quarterback from Indianapolis coming back this year from injury, right? And then you have the Houston Texans going deep into the playoffs, and winning. But just a very, very good team. I mean, the C.J. Stroud. Wow, I was very, very impressed. Very impressed. And like I said, we were talking about the sophomore slump. Hopefully that won't happen. So the first game, they have the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis, mind you. The Colts look great. Look good. But you never know. You never know. And their second week, so that right there, that could be a loss for the Houston Texans. I think the Colts in their own stadium, young quarterback. They have the running back, one of the best running backs in the National Football League, and they have Pittman just re-signed. And excuse me for 1 second. Excuse me, guys. I live in California, and we have a very hot heat wave going through, and I'm hearing these water-dropping helicopters going by my home, and which is kind of scary in a way. So that was the confusion of this in the middle of my show. Oh my God. Anyway, the Indianapolis Colts, I think they're going to take a loss on that one. And then you have the Chicago Bears the next week, and literally they're playing at home. And I think they're going to win that game. Because Chicago, new young quarterback, first year. I don't know if he's going to be ready for the task on an away game. He could be, but I think they'll be 1-1 at the end of that game. And then at Minnesota, I think they'll beat Minnesota. So they'll be 2-1. Jacksonville 2-2. Buffalo 2 I think they're going to lose to the Jacksonville Jags. And so they have 1-1, right? 2-1, 2-2. Then the Buffalo Bills 2-3, 3-3. New England, they're going to lose to Green Bay, and then they're going to win Indianapolis. Play Indianapolis again. Right after that, they play the Jets. They're in New York. I think they're going to lose that game. And then they're on the road actually, they're at home with Detroit. in November, and at Dallas on Monday, November, and then the Titans on the 24th, and Jacksonville on the December. Miami, then they played Kansas City, then they played Baltimore, and the last game of the season they played the Titans. I'm looking at it. I mean, it's just, I think they're going to take a step back this year. I think Houston's going to end up winning 8 and losing 9 games. I have a strange feeling that this is what's going to happen. And it's all the stats that I looked at. I mean, C.J. Stroud was definitely up there, but I think they might take a step back. It might be 9-8, but I really think they're going to be 8-9 this year. Houston fans, don't hate me. Don't hate me. And then you look at the Colts. This is going to be tough for the Colts. It's going to be a really tough season. I really think it's going to be harsh. It really, I mean, the Colts they do look good. I mean, on paper they look really good, and I just don't see them doing that well this year. I hope the Colts fans don't, hate me. But you have Jonathan Taylor as your running back, right? And then you have Anthony Richardson coming back from his shoulder surgery. You have Latu, you have Pittman, you have so Kenny Moore is second. I mean, think about it. Josh Downs. Is an up and rising star, Daniel Scott, of course I mentioned Pittman, and I mean, they have some good players. They really do, guys. I think they're young. I don't know how good Anthony Richardson's going to come back after his shoulder surgery. It's going to be tough for the young kid. It's going to be tough. I think they're going to beat the Texans in the first game. I have them, but then they go to Green Bay and they lose. Then they go to the Bears and the Steelers, Jacksonville Titans. Yes, they'll win. The Miami Dolphins lose. Then the Houston Texans lose. Minnesota Vikings win. Buffalo Bills lose. Jets lose. Detroit lose. Win New England. Win possibly Denver and the Titans and the Giants, but then they have the Jags, the Broncos, the Cardinals. Then they have the Titans, the Giants, and the Jags. The last game was the Jags. So virtually they have the last 4 games that's where I think they're going. The last 5 games, that's where they're going to get their wins. I think it's going to be kind of a sad state of affair. I think up until the New England one, 2, 3, 4. So there'll be only 2 wins up until week 13. They're only going to have 2 wins, and then I think they're going to beat New England, beat Denver, beat the Titans, beat the Giants, and then the Jacksonville Jags will lose too. So that's just what I'm seeing with this team. I think it's just the Anthony Richardson thing. You don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know. And Houston. You look at Houston, right? And I just think they're gonna, have a weak season. Like I said, I think they're gonna take a step back. I hope they prove me wrong. I certainly do, but I don't think they will. All right. I think the one team is going to might be a pretty surprising team. would be the Tennessee Titans. They've really gotten better. They really have gotten better, and they really have. And they're playing in Chicago, the first game. Well, that's going to be an interesting game, right? In Chicago, with a new quarterback, new system, it's going to be a fun. And the Chicago, their actual defense, the backfield of that defense is really ranked like number one. In the NFL, if you listen to some NFL shows, they're ranked number one. Their corners are ranked number one, and that's pretty exciting. And then they play the New York Jets right after that. Wow. And then they play the Green Bay Packers and Miami Dolphins. Think about it, guys. It's gonna be tough. I mean, the Bears, the Jets, the Packers, the Dolphins, they could be 0-4 by the time they get to Indy. And then they play the Bills, the Lions, the Patriots, the Chargers. I mean, the Vikings, the Texans, the Commanders, and then Jacksonville. And then the Bengals, and then the Colts, the Jags, and the Texans. I mean, wow. I mean, just wow. It just blows my mind. What a schedule. What a schedule, It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them. I really think they're going to go, 8-9. I'm thinking that might be generous. Might be generous, 8-9. It might be generous, but they could. I think they're going to. Yeah, I think they're going to be better than everyone thinks they're going to be. I really do. And last but not least, I have the Jacksonville Jags. I mean, the Jags, I think they're just on a verge. You look at their at their stats and everything, but they have a tough schedule, guys. Their first game's in Miami, and they're playing the Miami Dolphins the first game. They're away, and then they play the Cleveland Browns at home, and then they have to go away again and play the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, and then they have to go to Houston, play Houston, and they're back at home and playing Indy. Then they have to go back to the Bears, to the Bears, excuse me, and then they play at home with the New England Patriots, home with the Green Bay Packers, and then they have to go to Philly and play Philly, right? And then they have Minnesota, and then they have, excuse me for 1 second, and I mean, it's wild. Week 10, they're in Minnesota. I mean, they're playing against Minnesota at home. And then they have to go to Detroit. And then they play at Houston at home. Week 14, they're playing the Titans. I don't think the Jets are going to be that good, guys. I hate to say that, Jets fans. I love you guys out there. I really do. My brother, Brian Watson, I love you guys. The way I saw Aaron Rodgers in practice, he was favoring that leg, and I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to scramble. That was his forte, to get out of trouble and sometimes, go for a scamper. Not his big thing, but he used to do that and really fight. But I don't think he's got it in him. And you're on the Jets. You're not on the Green Bay Packers. He's woke up. He saw how good the Green Bay Packers organization is compared to the Jets. And he thought, I can do the same thing that Tom Brady did with Tampa Bay. I'll go there, we'll bring on people, and we'll win a championship. You're no Tom Brady. I'm sorry, Aaron. You are no Tom Brady. You can't even hold Tom Brady's jockstrap, no less. I mean, you're terrible, dude. You should retire. I have a solution for Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Retire, man. Do us all a favor. Anyway, week 16, the Raiders, and then they have the Titans and they have the Colts. So 2 out of the last 3 games are away. Well, away to the Raiders, home at the Titans, and going. Then they have to travel all the way to the Colts. You know how they blew it that one year? They needed to beat the Indianapolis Colts. Remember that? They make it to playoffs and they lost. So I think they're going to go 9-8. I think Jacksonville's going to take the division at 9-8. I think Houston and Tennessee are going to be right there. I think they're going to be around 8-9 each. It could flip around, or it could even go 7-10. Maybe Tennessee 7-10. But I think they might surprise people, and I think Indy is going to go 6-11. I hope they prove me wrong. I really do, because I hope that Anthony Richardson comes back and just starts playing like he started playing the first 7 games that he played, which was pretty cool. I mean, he was really good, and we'll see. We'll see. Joe Flacco's on that team, by the way, guys. Anyway, that's it. That's this show, man. It's the AFC prediction show, AFC South prediction show, and I thank you for tuning in. Remember, subscribe, turn your notifications on, comment, and by the way, if you're new to our channel, I just wanted to let you know, thank you so much. And we give out paraphernalia throughout the whole entire season. People who comment, people who write in, give us some questions, ask us what's this about, how do you feel about this or that. We answer the questions, and we love that. We love that. And that person, guess what they get? They get a hat from NFLshop.com of their favorite team. And we hold no expense, guys. These hats are, ready? They're fitted hats. So which is kind of cool. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. And, hey, keep the faith out there, people. Yeah.